Hello, my fellow humans. Welcome to This Week in Quality on May the 6th. It's actually May the 8th, so that's a great start. That's not a good win to start off our win session, is it? So welcome to This Week in Quality. I'm your host, Adi Stokes. I'm joined by Simon Tomes this week, and it's great to see so many people in the chat already chatting away. We have people from around the world, in Canada, from the UK. Let us know where you're coming from and all the other faraway time zones, which is fantastic. I see we have some new people popping up there. Lauren Lassie, I see, is a new person. It would be really nice to see you on stage with us later. So let's get this episode rolling, shall we? Oh, another West Yorkshire person. That's excellent, Lauren. I'm a Yorkshire person too, West Yorkshire also. So all the best people are from Yorkshire. I don't know if everybody else in the world is aware of this, but the people in Yorkshire are absolutely 100% aware that this is the best place to be. So just facts. That's all we're doing here, just facts. So this week's theme is, what are your wins of the week? Now, I suggested this as an idea for an episode because I was inspired by Melissa Fisher's posts on LinkedIn, and hopefully Melissa will join us today, and maybe she'll be able to come on the stage and tell us where she got her inspiration from. But it's just a nice thing of putting together a little collection of your little wins of the week, where are your successes, because we all know, like, imposter syndrome is a big thing in our industry, and we do not celebrate ourselves way enough at all. You're very welcome, Melissa. Getting a shout out on TWIQ is Melissa's win of the week already, so that's another one to add to her list. So yeah, we don't celebrate ourselves enough. We talk about how can we do better in our end of the month reviews, one-to-one sessions, keep a wins log, keep a success log, do all these other things. But we tend to keep them to ourselves. We don't tend to, if we're feeling a bit down, look back on them and see all this list of wins that we've done if we do keep them. I'm very much similar to that. So I've really focused and concentrated, and I have a list of wins for the week. But before I get to them, I'm going to welcome Simon to say hello to everybody and ask Simon, what are your wins for the week?
Hello, AD. Thanks for bringing us all together for This Week in Quality. It's great to be here. Yeah, and great to get to co-host with you today. And I'm loving the idea for a wins of the week episode inspired by Melissa. So yeah, thanks for bringing that to the table and running today's episode. It's very exciting. Yeah, loads of wins. So what's really cool is one of my major wins of the week was speaking with Lauren Lassie and getting our conversation live on the Motiverse. So yesterday I wrote a write-up of our conversation. So we had a call for insights around engineering management, and I was able to put that live yesterday. And as part of putting that live, I listen back to the conversation and I reflect on that conversation and try and play it back in written form. So it's just great. Like, Lauren's got loads of very interesting things to share. So I do encourage folks to go find that. If you just go to ministryofTesting.com/insights, that's where you can find it. The episode is called Walk Through the Door, Don't Just Open It. Do engineering managers hold all the power? So yeah, big win of the week. The other win related to Call for Insights was also publishing the conversation I had with Gary Hawkes, a TWIQ legend that is Gary Hawkes. And that was the evolution of a hiring manager. So we had a really good discussion where Gary shared all sorts of reflections and insights about hiring, all like the kind of major learnings he's had in his career. It's very open, it's very honest. Just a really good chat from Gary. He had lots of good advice. So do go check that one out. So yeah, I think, wins for me is being able to publish stuff on the Motiverse that is a reflection of what the community are up to. There's also loads of moments that I think are kind of demonstrating some of the awesome wins. So the one from Rahul about his AI Guardrails masterclass. I found myself like reflecting on his approach to running a masterclass. So for me, that was a win because I could learn from him and go, oh yeah, that's a really good approach to doing things. I love the interactive game that he ran live with the audience. They were well up for it, which is brilliant, including myself. I loved it. So yeah, loads of wins really. It's just all about bigging up what the community are up to.
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things about moments. They don't have to be big moments. There can be little moments, but little moments where you've had a win. I've seen people posting like just little things, like got great feedback on something, or one-liners, and it's just great to see that people are engaging more with moments and putting excellent stuff on there. And yeah, like Rahul's masterclass was really a deep dive into the mysteries of AI and why it's doing the stuff it's doing. We talk about it hallucinates and it makes things up and it does this, but Rahul's like looking into it's doing this because it's doing that because, can we fix, will this be fixed in the next version? Will probably not, because, and there's so much great stuff in that workshop. In that masterclass, it was just a joy to watch, and I love watching Rahul when he's excited about talking about AI and different stuff like that. You can see his passion and his energy for it, and how much he's put into actually pulling stuff together to share with the community. It's if you've watched it, you can thank him and he'll get a community star for it. But if you want to jump on and give him an extra community star for awesome work and stuff like that, please do.
I love it. Adi, you're just picking up on something you said about Rahul getting excited. Something I noticed where the proxy for excitement also for me was related to that, where I think Rahul was using perhaps an iPhone camera, which would follow him as he moved around. It would kind of zoom in and out. And when he was getting super excited, it would just zoom in lots and move around. So it's like watching a movie because he was like, really, really into it. And that obviously, has a positive effect on those who are joining live. So yes, and just to answer Nadja, your question in the chat, the masterclass recording is available to pro users, right? That is correct. All professional members get access to all masterclass recordings, all talk recordings, all insights, everything that's available on the site is available for all our professional members. So yes.
Yeah, Nadja said serving out stars is high up on the list, and she's behind.
But Adi, that was one of your wins, right? Nice segue into.
So earlier on, somebody in the chat said that was last week. Well, you can, if you didn't celebrate it last week, you can celebrate it this week.
Definitely, break the rules. That's what it's about.
While we're on about community stars, a win right at the end of, was it end of last week? I think it's beginning of this week. You get your summary for the.
You get it Monday at 6 o'clock UK time. It's the official job that runs.
On when I usually get my summary of how many stars I've done, I very rarely beat the stars I get. I'm very lucky in my community stars that I contributed so much to STEC and SQUEC, the Software Testing Essentials Certificate and the Software Quality Engineering Certificate. I've done quite a lot of lessons for their audio things. So every time someone completes a lesson, you get a community star for it. So I get quite a lot of stars. And another win is that I checked this morning and I am closing in on 3,000 community stars. I had a look earlier and I was on 2,970. So hopefully next week I should be celebrating my 3,000th community stars. But I awarded 220 stars last week. I think I got about 100 nods. So I awarded nearly double the amount of stars that I got. And I was absolutely dumbfounded, and I put a thing in Slack and I says, how on earth did I order that? And I got a sensible answer of Andrew, which said, yeah, it's probably thanking people. Which, obviously it's thanking people. But I was blown away because I've obviously must have spent quite a bit of time on the site, but I didn't feel like I was spending a lot of time on the site. When you're engaged with the content and you're looking through stuff or you're following stuff on, time passes. I'm in quite a cool situation where I'm not employed. I'm freelance at the moment, so I can sort of make my own schedule. So I can take some time out to spend time going through stuff and looking at stuff. And I think part of the 220 was we're now able to go back and mark things like this week in testing and this week in quality and software testing live as watched, and thank people that's been added to it over the last few weeks. So I think part of it was me catching up on a few things. But yeah, I was absolutely blown away. And yes, my brain is exploding that I'm getting close to 3,000 stars.
It's brilliant, AD. It's awesome. And it is a lovely feeling to award more than you receive. Like, it was an important addition to that weekly email that we added just before we put that feature live. It just feels nice, right? To find that ratio where you can award more than you receive. Not to dismiss receiving stars. Of course, that's a lovely feeling, but to be able to say, oh yeah, I've kind of given out these stars to my fellow humans is a nice feeling indeed.
Yeah, like I said, it's only happened a few times, but it's literally a quick fist pump yes moment when you see you've awarded more stars than you've received. Yeah. But we've got some comments, which maybe is one for the ideas for MOT. Stars should be a currency. Which has been followed up by we need a stars converter with dynamic pricing. Oh, could we get extra discounts for community stars? That'd be quite cool.
Oh, crikey. Peter's sweat is now running down my head trying to work out how we develop that.
Yeah, techno-currency. Gary's called it a techno-currency. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty good. I've got credit at the shop, whatever we do with that. Right. So yeah, that's brilliant. Keep those ideas coming. So,
AD, just before you jump into your wins, I do want to hear them. Yeah. I wanted to do a live win of the week, seeing Ibekwe Victor rejoin This Week in Quality. So Ibekwe, we met him last week on This Week in Quality. He said hi, introduced himself. It's lovely to see you join us again, Ibekwe. So that is definitely a win of the week. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Alexander said everybody's a stars dealer in MOT.
Yeah. Yes, that's one way of framing it.
You meet on the street corner. You got any stars? No, but how do you feel about triangles? For old people who like Ronnie Corbett and Ronnie Barker, got any O's? That's from the famous Four Candles.
Oh, a classic sketch. Classic sketch.
Is it 4 candles or is it a handle for a fork? You'll never know.
And I do feel for some folks who are joining us now are going, what are those two going on about?
That's why I tried to put a little bit of context on it about it. It's an old UK sketch from the two Ronnies.
But I just see with Adam joining, they might be like, what is happening in the conversation right now? But welcome, Adam Foy. It's good to see you. Don't worry about being late. It's just whenever you can join is always good.
Yeah, so Mark Steele's got it. Mark Steele's got it with 4 candles and 4 candles.
Absolutely. AD, your wins. Let's have another one. Go for it. What else have you been seeing that you want to celebrate?
So I've been working on NotebookLM on creating an AI publishing assistant to help me with my book. I'm trying to design it to help me through ideas, bounce ideas about models and different structures, chapter structures in the book. And I think I'm close to finishing it. It's actually now giving me sort of useful feedback on things. Like in the beginning, a lot of it was like AI slop rubbish. But it's actually coming up with a few useful suggestions on how to move things in a direction. I absolutely will not let it write any of the book, obviously. But, someone to bounce ideas off. And this is the thing with AI, we call it someone, it's something. Having something to bounce ideas off or something to say, what are the pros and cons in this approach and things like that. That's getting quite good. And the reason I'm calling it close to finishing as a win is it's sort of helped me get close to sort of refining 2 new models. One's on continuous thought in development. So if you think about the continuous testing model, they're like infinite model of Dan Ashby's, which was the originator of like holistic testing model and all these other sorts of things. Well, I'm playing with a continuous thinking model or a continuous thought model, something like that. And I'm also working on a mindsets model. I'm sort of narrowing that down as to what that's going to be like. And I'm sort of torn between a compass type north, south, east, west thing of 4 distinct areas with different mindsets within those, and having a quadrants thing. Because, like, you know me, I like my quadrants. I've got my accessibility quadrants. We have the testing quadrants. That's the sort of well-established way of demonstrating things. But I don't know, I'm getting close to playing with that. And I'm hoping to get help from a human designer. I have played with AI to come up with a couple of ideas of what it could look like, but in the end, it will be a human who makes and design these things. So that's a win towards my book.
Wonderful win. That's exciting. I'm excited to see those models, even if they're in their kind of early draft format, perhaps, sharing them as moments could be cool, just to put them out there, get people thinking, discussing, sparking ideas, sharing thoughts, feedback. Very cool, AD. I love it.
Yeah, so when it comes to things like that, I need to know what question I'm asking. I can stick it out there and go, what do you think? But that's like very, very general. But so I like to provide a bit of context. So this is what I was going for. What do you think about this? Is that landing? Is this landing? That sort of thing. Making it more focused feedback, I suppose, is the way I look at it. But yeah. I'll definitely be sharing them sometime in the future. Conference-wise, I recorded a talk for BrowserStack's Breakpoint conference, and Jenna Charlton was my host for that one, and that's happening next week. So I'm looking forward to that. I've been getting a bit of feedback from BrowserStack and Jenna on the talk, so that's looking good. Leeds Testing Atelier is on Tuesday, which I'm a sponsor of, so I'm looking forward to going to that. I'm also speaking on accessibility and an overview of the Ministry of Testing for a company on Thursday. So there's quite a few things coming through on the conference front. So that's really nice. Now, my biggest Motiverse win is one for the Leeds chapter. I've managed to get not one, not two, but 3 Leeds chapter events scheduled. So we have Colin in May, who's doing a talk on how testing saved his side hustle. In July, we tend to get fewer people because it's the summer, people are on holidays or the spending time at home with the children or whatever it might be. We tend to get fewer people in the summer. So I thought we'd just do a relaxed summer social. I noticed there's been a few meetups where they've done like testing in the pub type things where they've just met up for a drink to talk testing or whatever's on the mind. I think that's a really cool idea. So, like all the best ideas, I've stolen it for Leeds. So we have the summer social in July. And for September, we have Adam Davis with his Testing What You Can't Control workshop. This is basically everybody joins in using their phones to create a complicated environment. And then we can test our own version of that environment and then compare it to others, see where the bugs are. He did it in Manchester. It got loads of fantastic feedback. So I'm really looking forward for him to bring that to Leeds for us. Should be loads and loads of fun. And then on a slightly personal note, it's not technically my win, but I wanted to give it a shout out in This Week in Quality. Chris Catterall has put an appeal out on LinkedIn for supporting assistance dogs. So she's doing a challenge where she's taking on a marathon distance through a mix of wheeling and walking to raise funds for Canine Allies Future Placement Dogs Programme. I'm going to, if it works, put a link in the chat. It would be good if someone could put a thumbs up on it if you can see it. But that is where she shares the details of it. There's a beautiful picture of Luna, which I can see in the chat, and I hope you can all see it too. And thank you for the thumbs up. And I sponsored her because I love things like that. I love being able to help people and make the world a little bit better. And basically, that's why I bought into being an accessibility advocate and sharing information on accessibility. It's like my contribution to making the world just a little bit better for other people. So that's my list of wins for the week.
Epic, AD. It's amazing, isn't it, when we do reflect on a week's worth of stuff that's been going on. I think I don't know, sometimes we can move fast and go, oh yeah, what did we achieve this week? Or what did I really get up to? But when you actually sort of stop and take a moment like you've done, you're like, oh, there's all this cool stuff going on. So yeah, many congrats, or bug congrats, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to keep it as relevant to the quality community as possible. Like there's things outside of there. Like I've solved a couple of problems for the cricket club where I'm chairman. I managed to source a door because we got broken into. So I could have added a list of like outside of the testing world stuff, but I thought I'd try and keep it more quality focused. But yeah, don't just think about your work in terms of you gain wins from the work and the value you do. You gain wins from the value you are as a human being and helping the people around you and supporting, a nice word to somebody when they're feeling down or offering support to people. These are all wins and you can celebrate your wins.
Totally. You really emphasize a point that Lauren Lassie shares in the Call for Insights, like to inspire others. She talks about like, it doesn't necessarily mean saying, oh, look at all the good things I'm doing in the workplace. It's like sharing about success that you have in your life. And that can inspire people. Like taking on challenges, personal achievements can go a long way to sort of building your confidence and to inspire other people to go for it and get out there. So yeah, big fan of that, Adi. That's very cool.
Absolutely.
Well, do you think it's now time for us to get some folks up on stage?
I think I would love to see some.
Right. So I'm gonna work the special button magic. So I'm just I'm gonna do this on the fly. Join the stage queue. I'm pretty sure that's the correct button. So folks should be able to see a button appear at the top right. For those who are following along live, you should be able to press the button at the top that says join the stage queue, and that will send a little notification to myself and Adi, and we can see that you want to join us. So come up on stage, share a win. This could be any type of win, big or small, or any size in between. Could be your win, someone else's win. Judy is saying they don't see the button yet. Okay, so from this side, it says it is. In the meantime, let me just hack it and see if I can share the link in the chat. That is a link to join us. Let me see if I can pin it. Nope, I don't have the option to pin. So that button may disappear. So I'll probably just keep on sharing it for now. Although there you go. I've pressed the add to stage link and there it is. The magic of technology. You just have to press the button twice.
It's all right, Sam. It's a new step in the process. We've got to test it and get used to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And we now know it is working because Nadja is now off stage. In fact, no, she's on stage.
That was quick. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, how are you doing?
Yeah, we're good. So, thank you very much for joining us on stage. I hope a few others will do that. And I hope Melissa might join us to tell us about her inspiration for starting the Wins of the Week thing. So, tell us about your wins.
Yeah, my win of the week is I was invited to an agentic AI hackathon on Tuesdays. The hackathon started on Wednesday, and we had our presentations this morning, and it was a great success. And we have lots of new items on our to-do lists. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Took away a lot of my time for project work, but it was worth it.
Hackathons, I find go two ways. You either have a long period of frustration, which sort of takes the value away, or you jump straight in and it starts becoming fun fairly quickly.
It was the first day we had some people talking about behavior-driven development, tester-driven development, spec-driven development, and other talks. I did miss the first part on the first day. And then we got 5 challenges to solve, and we're split in 5 groups, and it was so much fun. And all the results in the end were supporting each other, so it's like one big picture already, which is great. It was really cool.
Oh, that sounds like a great event. Can you sort of give us an example of what you had to do if it's not proprietary?
So my we did reverse brainstorming. I did already look in the glossary of the murder words. It's not in there yet, so we might have to add it. Where you have your goal and then you turn it around, make it like a bad problem. and ours was how do we automate regression tests and improve reviews. And in the end, we came up with the whole new testing COP that's going to work on these things. And we didn't have anyone who was able to really create an agent for us. So all our stuff is more like a to-do list, but we have a COP now. We called it Better Quality, and let's see what we come up with.
That sounds very cool. Yeah, there's a lot of value in doing hackathons. I've seen it in a few places. Like if you give people time and space to solve problems without trying to tell them what the solution is, it's amazing what people can come up with if you give them give them that level of trust and put that level of confidence in him. So yeah, that's fine. That's a really good story. Thank you for sharing that, Nadja. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
No, I had a great week. I'm happy. I'm glad to listen others sharing the wins of the week. I'm very excited to hear more wins.
That's excellent. Well, thank you very much for sharing, Nadja. Simon, would you like to bring Melissa up?
Let's do it. And yeah, great to hear from you, Nadja. Please stick around on stage for sure.
Hello, Melissa.
Hello, Amy, Simon, and everyone.
Hey, great to hear your voice. Are you well?
Yes, I'm really well. I think we're all happy it's Friday. It can be a long week. Just thank you so much for using my LinkedIn post as inspiration. I wasn't quite expecting this. So yeah, thank you so much.
No, you're very welcome. I keep an eye out for those. I don't think I always see them, but I do keep an eye out for those because I think they're worth celebrating and worth promoting. Like I said at the beginning, I don't think we celebrate ourselves enough overall and all the little things. We can have a frustrating day and still have wins throughout the day. So we go and go, oh, I've had a terrible day. This and this has happened. And when you get in conversation, you go, oh yeah, I did this thing and that were really cool and I did that. But the bad always outweighs the good, and we need to. I think for a good mental health balance, we need to focus on the good. So yeah, thank you for inspiring me. So what inspired you to start doing that?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think sometimes things can be quite stressful and you can't see like the good through the trees. And I think often we celebrate the big wins and we kind of miss the small wins. So my kind of thinking behind of sharing my wins was also, the small things. Like before this session, I've just gone for a really nice long walk. I count that as a win, looking after my mental health. And just that's something to celebrate. Or, having a really good conversation with a colleague and getting to know them better. It's just like all these little things really add up to something really special. And I think we can all make a really big difference by kind of being positive, celebrating all those little things and pushing into the right direction.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, we've got Louise off stage waiting to share her win, and we've had quite a few people posting in Slack. Like Alexander's just said that he got back to playing guitar. So how cool that if you can play guitar and you haven't done it for a while? How cool is that? But yeah, there's so many little things you do. Like I pulled my Achilles. I've got Achilles tendonitis, and with my bad back, I've had a breakthrough with my bad back and my pain's gone right down. So I was hoping to get back into walking, and as soon as I got going, I pulled my Achilles tendon. Well, this week is the first time I've managed to exercise walk a mile, and it's taken me like 4.5, 5 weeks to get back to just walking a mile. So that's a huge win for me. But if we weren't talking about wins, I wouldn't have told anybody. I wouldn't have posted about it. I'd mention it to my wife. But we have these little wins going on pretty much throughout the day, and just take a moment to appreciate them, take a moment to recognize them, and pat yourself on the back. We don't pat ourselves on the back enough. So yeah, that's really cool. So thank you for starting that. I think it would be really nice for us to do this every so often. Maybe once every couple of months, once every 6 weeks or something like that. Or even have a little 10 minutes at the end of, if anybody wants to jump on and tell us what cool wins you've had this week. Yeah, just make it, use moments to make it part of your week. Yeah, we could have a collection of wins from moments, wins of the week moments, something like that. Hopefully this will get a little ball rolling and we can all celebrate each other a bit more.
Absolutely, AD. I'm all up for that indeed. And I think I'm going to bring Louise up onto stage. Louise's reference to David Bowie, there's a starman in the multiverse. He'd like to come and thank us, but the button has been lost.
Button has been lost.
There's a starman in the multiverse. He told us all to test it because he knows it's all worthwhile. 100% Louise, thank you for joining us. I absolutely love that. I missed that reference earlier on. I was like, oh, hang on, that's David Bowie, right?
Just popped into my head. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good.
Welcome.
Good
to see you, Louise.
Happy Friday, everybody. Bank holiday weeks are hard work.
Yeah. And Louise, what have been your wins of the week?
So I found entirely by accident, and this has renewed my faith in the entire universe, the most horrible bug I think I've ever found in my entire career this week. And more importantly, it had not gone live, because if it had gone live, we would have never spotted. And the unique set of terrifying events that caused it to not go live is why it was found. And it's kind of renewed my faith in the universe. I won't go into too much detail for it because it's very PHP heavy, which is gross. But yes, we upgraded some Laravel packages. The testing had all gone through for that. That was fine because it required out of hours. It hadn't been deployed, and the dev who was going to deploy it had been on leave. Another dev did a bunch of updates to our admin panel, which is our internal tool where everyone does all the admin. Sorry. And yeah, I was testing that to make sure all the icons from the upgrade and all the node packages, everything was still working, all the buttons were clicking. As part of that, I did a little permissions update test. I removed all my permissions and made sure I couldn't do a bunch of things that higher admin users can. I noticed I could still do all of that. It turns out the new auth package stuff that we had changed that wasn't supposed to change tokens had meant that every user had full admin permissions. So if it had gone live, all of our users would have full admin permissions to our entire admin panel. So yeah, very glad I caught that. Little bit terrifying, but it's all safe and very much not live. And yeah, the unique set of events where one dev had done an update, one dev was on leave, and I happened to notice that the permissions weren't working properly. I usually put it down to it just being me, but I triple checked. And the way our 3 test environments were set up to make it really obvious that that was what the problem was as well, completely removed my faith in not a higher power, but you know what I mean. A little bit terrifying, but we're all good.
Wow, Louise, oh my goodness me. I was just like here with my mouth wide open, like giving admin permissions to all users. Oh, sends a shudder down my spine. So amazing. Yeah, as Judy shares in the chat, that's so scary and good for you. Alexander Romanov, that's the story. Gary Hawkes sharing 5 scared emojis. Oh, that sums it up for sure. Wow. I mean, yeah, I have no words to share back, but thank you for sharing. It gives others confidence that we can find these things and stop bad things happening with our applications getting into the hands of our end users and stakeholders and customers. I was thinking, my head was just going when you described it like the Swiss cheese model, where if all the layers of Swiss cheese line up and there's all the holes line up, then that's when problems can occur. My head went to the CRUD heuristic. It's like, how do we test for create, read, update, delete, and permissions and all of that stuff? So wow, Louise. Yeah, any other reflections, Louise, whilst you're up on stage on that?
It's just actually caused some, because they've been putting off doing some stuff for a while. The fact that all our users are also, our admins and users are in the same table, which is tech debt that we know we have. This has pushed a lot of actually fixing some tech debt forward, when we are unfortunately in a situation where product wants shiny things and we don't get to do our tech debt. But this particularly large, terrifying bug that could have gone live, which would have been undetectable in theory, we wouldn't have noticed because it would have taken a while to find anyway, potentially. Yeah, it's actually got the ball rolling on some stuff that has been needed to be fixed for a while. So yeah, it's good but terrifying, but also yay.
Yeah, double win that it's got the ball rolling. You know, win for the catch and win for the look. We've got to do something about this to put stuff in place to stop this kind of thing happening again. Double win, Louise. I like it. Although I don't like the terrifyingness in it. Yeah, that's scary. But yes, it's the complete dilemma of our role, isn't it? Right? Like scaring ourselves when we discover things like this, but we kind of have to go through that.
Yeah, because you do all the like risk part of it as well. Because it's like if this had actually gone live, or if Adam had not been on leave, it would have gone live on Monday and been out there for like Tuesday, sorry, because it's a bank holiday in the UK. Yeah, all of yesterday, my brain was just like, all these things have caused this to not happen, but all the thing, yeah, if one of those things hadn't lined up, it would be out there in the wild, and we will be none the wiser. And yeah, I guess that's how these things happen, I suppose. But yeah.
Yeah, that's very much of the two sides of software testing. The win for you is a scary risk that could bring a company down for somebody else.
That's totally it.
Yeah, Alexander has put a great. Well, I've said it's a T-shirt idea. Scare yourself with the bugs, so the users won't need to be scared.
Scare yourself with the bugs, so users don't have to. I love that. I think also I'm going to encourage Judy, who shared an epic line. You get admin, you get admin, you get admin. Insert Oprah GIF here. Please post that as a moment and tag it me. That's absolute gold.
Admin for everyone.
Admin for everyone. Brilliant. Louise, thanks so much for joining us. And yeah, do stick around if you've got more things to join into the conversation for others who join us on stage today. Please do put yourself forward, folks. Hopefully you've been inspired by some of the wins that have been shared so far. Come up on stage, no matter how big or small it is. Tell us a story. Tell us what you've been up to that you want to celebrate. Perhaps it's also something that you've seen in the Motiverse this week or even earlier than this week. We can break the rules with time. I see we got Gary Hawkes. Let's get Gary up on stage.
How you doing?
Hey, Gary.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Gary.
Yeah, I've had quite. I was sitting here listening to everyone and like trying to list my wins of the week, and you're right, Simon. Is when you go through it, it's like, wow, I never thought about how much has gone well. So yeah, so this week I'm getting towards the end of the Motiverse coaching course. It's something that was really kind of intriguing me, and I did it, and I love it so much. I want to be one. It's just and some of the things I've this week, I think it's actually fed into some of the things I've done this week, where I always when I did a sort of like a blog post and the odd post here and there and talk about AI, I always intend it to be just a one-off and not to go on about AI. But I had a kind of AI situation this week where one particular project team, let me just sort of say they were a bit too vibe for my liking, and they've been working that way for some time, and I've been trying to influence them, and eventually with the sort of help of a bit of DORA metrics in there was basically a sprint that we finished that was a fat 0, and it was basically because they had got into the point where AI wasn't doing what it needed to for their code, so they were continually playing with AI to try and make it do the thing that they wanted it to do, and that becomes a very kind of scary loop. And I just sort of talked to them, so I let them talk about it from a retro, and I kind of said, look, have we slowed down? Yes we have. Is there anything that I think you've got into this habit of like being too far on AI and going too deep with just vibe coding? And we even got to a point where the developer was generated a design in AI, which then fired off the story creation in AI, and he's probably going to fire the code creation in AI from it all. But then when you read the stories, it only catered for developers. Totally, there was nothing in there that the product manager didn't understand them, and we as QA didn't understand what the outcomes were meant to be of these stories. So again, it was like that kind of coaching, and at the end of this, there was a realization that we need to do this very, very differently. So they're off now, looking at the next sprint and resolving the way they use AI and using it, if you like, a balanced way, which was like really, really awesome. And I think the other thing, really, the big win is my company has paid for the hotel for Muttercon and Leading with Quality. So I'm going to be there 3 nights. So so I should have some fun in Brighton. That's my wins.
Oh, that's excellent to hear.
So that means you can come to karaoke night.
I don't think I've got a choice, have I?
No, you don't.
No, we should have this week in karaoke and scare people. We've had scary stories about wins of the week involving scary stories. Really scary karaoke hour.
Yes. And it will be. Yeah.
Well, it's like we've had 2 in a row now where people have told a really scary story about testing or the tools people are using, like 2Vibe is that's an excellent t-shirt idea. There's a few of them been coming through. But yeah, getting AI to fix something AI's done wrong is it not the definition of insanity to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result?
Yeah, but it also feeds into one of the things we were talking about in another TWIQ about the I told you so movements, because like I say, this goes back to like about 6 months ago when our kind of CTO was trying to push. Everyone's using it. Just go off and use it. Start trying to do, go production on it. And the kind of response from all the developers, as you'd expect, was mixed. You had some that were kind of, well, I enjoy coding. I'm only going to get AI to do the things I don't enjoy doing. And then the others to the other extreme, which were these guys, which was like, yeah, full on. And I said it at the time. I said, you will get people that will get into a loop of trying to fix AI to do the thing they want to do. And I did hold back from saying the I told you so. I just thought, right, I've got an opportunity in this retro to get this across. And it was kind of, well, to be honest, how I was kind of explaining it was a bit vibe in the way I was going about it. I was kind of riffing it, but I kind of hit the message home without telling them they were all wrong, is that it was kind of, these are the lessons we need to be learning when we come to these retros, because here's the facts. We are slowing down, and now we've got to a sprint there where we didn't finish anything. And so there you go. If that isn't ringing alarm bells for you, then we all need to do something. And I'm not picking people out. It was just, we all need to do something. So it was kind of a collective decision. So, but in the back of my mind, yes, there is, and I told you so. I knew this would happen. But yeah.
Yeah, what is it? When you were mentioning, when we were having that conversation before about the I told you so moments, I didn't think of it at the time, but I thought of it afterwards. We could have a Slack channel called #Smugface. And then we could literally have that channel to just tell our stories of here's I told you so where I bit my tongue. Or I did it diplomatically, but here's the story. And then we need a little emoji reaction of something that represents I told you so.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but no, that's really cool. Thank you for sharing, Gary. We will definitely be doing karaoke, but not until 4:00 in the morning. I can't do that again.
Agreed. Completely agreed.
To be fair, I won't be doing a talk the next day this time, but I will be volunteering.
Yeah, we're lucky that this time it's only one day, so we can just go in the evening or the day after if we're all still there.
Yeah, if after the conference might be a good time to do that, because I think somebody's organised a walking tour at Brighton. So I'm weighing up whether to stay Friday night and then travel home on the Saturday.
Maybe we should have a talk with Rosie. I think she's the one organising the walk.
Yeah, it might be a bit easier to travel because I've got like a 6.5, 7 hour train journey to get back home. So like Fridays is a terrible travelling day from south to north in the UK. So we'll go. Anyway, thank you very much, Gary. Excellent story. We have Ibekwe, if that's
yeah, let's get Ibekwe up. Gary, I just wanted to say, just before we jump into bringing Ibekwe, I like that you use the retrospective to bring that up. The reason I like that is sometimes it can be difficult to sort of bring it up on the fly, but the fact that you use the retrospective, it made me think of the retrospective prime directive, where Norm Kurth shares, regardless of what we discover, we understand and truly believe that everyone did the best job they could, given what they knew at the time, their skills and abilities, the resources available, and the situation at hand. So it's like, it sounds like you did it in a way that was sort of sensitive to, well, you know, folks were getting excited for this type of tooling, and while, you know, there was an assumption that things might not work out, it's like, well, folks have got to give it a go and kind of perhaps learn, maybe not the hard way, but just learn and go, okay. But the fact that you were able to do that in a retrospective, I think is really cool. That's what I wanted to add.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks.
Cool. Ibekwe, let's get you up on stage. We'd love to hear from you again. Ibekwe, welcome. How you been? Hello. Ibekwe, if you can hear us, it does look like from this side that you are muted. Oh, I see you've unmuted. Please go for it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Welcome.
Welcome back.
Good afternoon, everybody. How you guys doing today?
Very good, thank you.
Just great.
Excellent.
Yeah, good.
Please do share, Ibekwe. Do you have a win of the week or wins of the week that you'd like to share with us today?
Okay, I wouldn't say I did much of a thing this week, but throughout the week I was exploring API testing. So I did a project on it, I think 6 months ago. But it was more like all positive testing of API, the happy parts. So I was thinking of testing the negative part of API. So I was studying the OWASP top 10 API vulnerabilities. That was this week. So I could understand what exactly one should be testing in APIs, not just writing scripts for missing headers or missing status codes or incorrect status codes, but actually understanding what could go wrong in an API and what you should test about it. So yes, I was just a bit of, doing a lot of study, not much of our testing. Yeah, so that was what I was doing throughout this week. And I was also doing some job hunting, see if you could see any junior QA roles or internships. And yeah, it's been good actually. Yeah.
Amazing. A bit quick. Oh, AD, go for it. I see you unmuted. Jump on in.
No, that's great to hear. We've heard so many great stories about people's wins today. I think it's definitely been worth doing an episode like this, and I really hope we can do it again. Simon, you ain't got anything to add? We've got a few minutes left.
Well, I can do a wrap up in a bit. It's just to say, Ibekwe, thanks for showing up again, right? It's amazing that you're up for sharing and joining the stage. Just to reiterate what we shared last week for all our listeners, that if people, show up, good things will tend to come their way if they're up for participating, contributing, sharing their learning, putting stuff out there. There's good stuff to be had. There's good stuff to learn, good kind of vibes, as we've seen. I say the right kind of vibes. I use the word vibes carefully these days, thinking about Gary's point earlier on. But yeah, thanks again for being part of This Week in Quality, Ibekwe. It's good to see you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
And that little story has generated quite a bit of love for APIs testing in the chat. There's two opinions. Someone doesn't like doing it because there isn't a UI, and other people love it because there isn't a UI. So that's a nice share of opinions.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that beginner's path. I was literally going to mention it. There was a beginner's path for anybody who wanted to get into it. And there are so many great tools out there these days to help with it. Like when I first started doing API testing, I was hacking around with a very hacky tool. I won't even mention because I think it's just died in dust these days. But yeah, the tooling for API testing is great, and that Beginner's Path is an excellent course.
Defo. I think for folks who are into Postman, there's a collection around Postman, if I remember. But yes, yeah, loads of stuff to find on the Motiverse, of course. Just encourage people to head over to ministryoftesting.com, do a keyword search and see what you discover. It will search for people's profiles. It will search for, all the different types of content that are available, whether it's articles, talks, masterclasses, AMAs, call for insights. There is plenty to be discovered. So definitely worth checking out. AD, I'll wrap up in a bit, but yeah, final, just with a line around professional membership, just to remind folks. But AD, any final thoughts before I do that?
Thank you, everybody who came up on stage and contributed in the chat. It's been great to hear and read about the wins you've had. I'm really glad I suggested it, and thank you from Melissa for being my inspiration. And I really hope we can do another session like this. I think I'll take all the ones I shared, I'll write them up and I'll post them in a wins for the week, and then I'll create a collection. And if you can tag it wins of the week, or have a look at mine, I think is the easiest way to do it with dashes.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, when you tag something, if you do win dash of dash the dash week or weeks, that should do it.
Yeah, so I will do that after this, and I'll create a collection, and then I'll have a look. And if you want to add yours and share those, and we'll build up a load of nice wins. You'll get stars for them. You might get some love in the chat, in the comments. So thank you all for sharing, and over to Simon to wrap up.
Lovely. Thanks for co-hosting, AD. Great idea to do a wins of the week.
Must be my second TWIQ.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Defo. That's brilliant. So yes, thanks, folks, everyone who's joined the stage today. Very grateful for you sharing, and to those in the chat. So at the Motiverse, we are building things differently. We are an independent, member-supported community helping quality thrive everywhere. So if you head over to ministryoftesting.com/membership, sign up for a professional membership today. The Motiverse is your career companion. It has everything you need to grow a quality career in tech. Come from the knowledge and you will stay for so much more. We're looking forward to speaking to you all soon. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you to all our listeners, and we'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.
Bye, see you next week.
Bye, everybody.